Okay. I am going to share my screen with you guys. If I can figure out how to do it again. This is how long it's been. I don't even know how to share my screen anymore. Multiple participants, share screen. Okay. All right. Let me move y'all's faces. So, what, buddy? Hey, Taylor, did you say you can hear me or you can't? I don't know what she said.
Hey, sorry, I come in unmuted. My class was talking still.
Oh,
I got the two devices to work.
Hey, look at you. I thought somebody said they couldn't hear me, and I thought it was you. I don't know who it was because I can't see y'all.
No, I can hear you. You're good.
Okay, perfect. If anybody needs me, I can't see you guys because I'm sharing my screen, so y'all just unmute yourself and yell at me. Okay, so some of the things we're going to talk about today is coaching with courage, and hold on. Coaching with courage, ways you can influence your people, meaning your coaches, meaning your challengers, or meaning just like everyday life, whatever you do in life, your job, your kids, whatever. It's talking about influencing. So influencing whoever you are trying to influence. And then we're going to talk about some habits that can help you guys be the best version of yourself, whether we're talking about Beachbody or not. So this is not just for Beachbody. So please don't see it as that. And I know Marsha and I were both at the same church the other day, and just our message kind of went along with this, and she shared some of it. But basically, like finding your purpose, whether it be when you're coaching, whether it be in your when you're parenting, we have a lot of teachers in here, we have a lot of nurses, whatever it is, these things can be applied to it today. So first thing, coach with courage. So this is talking about coaching clearly. And I have some notes here, so I'm going to look at my phone too. But this quote from Mark Twain, just let it sink in. Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear. So courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear. So I think a lot of times we think about courage and we think about, oh, they're so courageous. They're like not scared to do anything. No, they may be. There's still fear there, but what it is they have mastered fear. They have overcome it. They're resistant to it. And then there's different types of courage that this book goes into. The first one is physical. So physical courage is going to be strictly like when you put yourself in harm's way to meet a noble goal. So jumping into an intersection to save somebody's life. Do what, buddy? You can't see? You can't see what? You're thinking your little toe is peeling? Okay, I'll look at it in a minute, okay? Okay. Sorry, his little toe is peeling. Hold on. There. Okay, so physical courage. So that's literally actually putting your physical self in not necessarily harm's way, but you're being courageous, like saving somebody from a burning car, something like that. And that could even include fighting for your own life when you're sick. So physical courage. Next, we're going to talk about mental courage. Mental courage is speaking up for others or enduring hardships for what you believe is right to serve the greater good. So we could use this a lot for coaching, what you believe is right or wrong. So we kind of talked about this in Team United Legacy chat the other day on how there's like so many quick fixes right now. I think there was like some chocolate collagen thing or stuff like that. You're in a place of influence where you can speak on what you think is right or wrong as far as health, nutrition, fitness, all of those things. No, we are not certified trainers. And I went on this rabbit hole the other day of somebody like bashing Beachbody coaches. And I was reading all the comments and stuff. And it's like, we don't claim to be professional trainers. That is what Autumn Calabrese and Jericho and Joel and all of them are for. I don't ever claim to, like, that's why we use them. I don't ever claim to know everything. I'm not a dietitian. I do not know nutrition in and out. I far from follow a perfect nutritional plan, but I let Autumn Calabrese, who is the professional, I let her do it and I follow hers. So not necessarily, acting like you know everything, but having that mental courage to stand up and speak up for other people and speak up for yourself. And I've learned a lot through this, just with my doula stuff. And it's something that I know a lot of us have kids. It's something when you have kids, like you have to be able to have that mental courage to stand up for your kids, because if you're not going to, who is? For example, when Coleman broke his arm, the first doctor we saw said it was broken one place, just try to keep him off of it. Okay, well, he's a child and he was learning to walk. We can't keep him off of it. My mom gut said, no, I'm going to stand up for him. I'm going to have that mental courage and we're going to go for a second opinion. Found out there was 2 breaks and he for sure needed to be in a cast or it wasn't going to grow right. And so I'm like, if I would have just sat back and not stood up for him, like he may have never had like full function of his arm. I mean, it may not have been that bad, but still, I mean, he definitely would have hurt it worse. So you got mental courage there. And then you got psychological courage. And this is the act of facing or overcoming your own anxieties, insecurities, and mental fears. So 2 examples for this. Assert your authentic self instead of conforming. So show the world who you really are, even if someone might not like it. This is huge in the position that we are in as Beachbody coaches, guys, because you don't necessarily have to coach like me. I don't have to coach like Lauren. Lauren doesn't have to coach like Brigida. Like we can coach in our own ways and we're all individual for a reason. So somebody is looking for your individual style of coaching, your personality, your version of friendship. Somebody's looking for you for a reason. So be your authentic self. Don't try to be somebody you're not. And then you don't necessarily have to air all of your dirty laundry. If you're comfortable doing that, go for it. Some of my favorite connections I've had with people are when I do air some of our dirty laundry, whether it be with parenting or our marriage and stuff like that. And I get to connect with other people because those are the times when you feel alone and you kind of feel depressed a little bit. And then when you can connect with other people and you're like, wow, we're not screwed up. Like our family's not screwed up. Other people go through this too. And so that is kind of when you can psychologically connect with other people, when you are your authentic self. And then the other part is experience personal growth, even if it's only a private victory. So just because you're not sharing it doesn't mean that you're not courageous. So even if it's a private personal victory, it can be something so minute, so small, but still celebrate that because you're still taking a courageous act. And then everyday courage. So this just means keeping a positive attitude or taking action despite great uncertainty, such as moving to a new city, bad health or hardship, such as sharing unpopular ideas or showing up every day for work, even when things are tough at the office. So this just means every single day, show up with a positive attitude. I'm going to talk about something called Bring the Joy here in a little bit. And I swear, I told Clint yesterday, I was like, I'm going to get this tattooed somehow. I'm probably going to get it in a different language tattooed on me because it has changed our world. I'll explain that more in a second. But this quote, I love this quote at the bottom of the screen. The important thing is that you define what being more courageous means to you and start living that way. So in all of that I just explained, being courageous could mean something different to everybody. So I want you to sit back and think about it. And this is where I pulled in like our church thing is he sat back and he was like, think about what breaks your heart. And that is the purpose that you are living. So think about what being courageous means to you, personally to you, because it's going to look different for everybody. And then start incorporating those things into your everyday life. Start living that way. So there's coaching with courage. Ooh. Okay. And then we're going to pull that into influence. So when you're coaching with courage, that is when you are going to have the biggest influence on those that follow you, whether it be coaches, whether it be challengers, or whether it be people that are just watching from the outside that don't even do Beachbody, because you are influencing people every single day, whether you mean to or not. So lately I have not been posting like these long inspirational posts. It's mainly just about my kids, but guess what? I'm still influencing people. The days I don't post at all, I'm still influencing people because I have 2 young kids. I have a husband. I have people that I walk through everyday life with that I am influencing whether I mean to or not. So step back and think when you're taking that everyday courage, how you're starting every day, how you have a positive outlook on every single day, or do you wake up with a negative outlook? Clint and I have been talking a lot about like that's the way you look at it. I spelled themselves wrong. So sorry. But we're about to leave for Florida and Coleman is the worst car rider. And we thought about flying. We thought about all the things. Sorry, my husband texted me. And I'm like, Clint, it's all about perspective. It's all about perspective. Like he's going to be what he's going to be. We have to tackle it with positivity. Like, yes, he's probably going to scream the whole way, but you're hot. Take the blanket off. It's all about perspective. There you go. And so when you think about your everyday mental courage, how do you want to influence people? How do you want them to think about themselves? First of all, I see that typo. I know. How do you want them to think about themselves? So that is how you need to treat them. If you want them to think positively about themselves, you need to portray that in your own life. And then you also need to show that, like, be positive, a positive light to them as well. So pep them up, compliment them, all of the things. This is something Kayla and I've actually been chatting about back and forth, that I've been working on personally, is just being more vocal about how I feel about people. And even, I'll show y'all real quick. A lot of the podcasts I've been listening to lately are all about personal growth, personal development, and just like really cherishing those people that mean a lot to y'all. Y'all can't see me, but I'm doing a call real quick, buddy. I have this notebook that I got that every day I take and I write. Huh? No, this is not your notebook. I take, hey bud, yours is on this thing right here. I'm doing a call. You said if you were going to stay up, you weren't going to bother me. Okay. Your notebook's on the TV stand. Every single day I write something that Clint did that I'm thankful for, whether it be help with the dishes, or yesterday it was, he played sharks and boats around the house with Hayes and chased Coleman around the t-ball game the entire time without a single complaint because I had to coach. So those are things that I don't really thank him for, that I wish I did. And so I've started trying to like write those down to try to have a more positive influence on what he does. Sorry, I need to like turn those off. How do you want them to think about other people? So when you are influencing your coaches, we'll look at it from that perspective. How do you want them to think about other people? How do you want them to approach other people, prospective coaches, prospective challengers? And how do you want them to think about them? And how do you want them to think about the world at large? So this goes back to that everyday courage. Do you want them to wake up with a glass half full or glass half empty type of mentality? When you sit back and think about all of these questions, if you think, I want my coaches to think that the world is a positive place. I want them to see every day as a blessing. I want them to do all these things. Guess who's influencing them to do that? You are. You are in a position, such a position of power where you're sitting right now. So I want to challenge you guys to have that positive influence on your coaches by living whatever you want them to see, whatever you want them to feel. I want you to live that too. So here's this quote at the bottom. Hold on, I gotta move y'all's faces again. And this talks about, this quote comes straight from this book, but it talks about from a father's perspective, but we have a lot of moms here, so I'm going to change it up. So the words that a mother speaks to her children in the privacy of a home are not heard by the world, but as in whispering galleries, they are clearly heard at the end and by posterity. So meaning, yes, what I just said to Hayes just now about not bothering me, no, that's not heard by the world. It was heard by y'all because y'all aren't here. But in the end, we're raising tiny humans, those of us that are moms. And the impact of that is so humbling because you've seen your best and your worst qualities come out in your children. And so you are a huge influencer if you are a mother right now. If you're an aunt, if you're a sister, if you're a friend, you have huge influence on little bitty lives that are going to be running the world one of those days. And that's terrifying. I hope Jesus comes back before them. Okay, influence. If anybody has anything, you can stop me. We're going to talk about some steps you can take after this quote on getting your life in check. Okay, it says you are capable of remarkable things that you could never foretell without and will never discover without taking action. This is huge. I'm going to take a picture of this because I love this quote. So you are capable of remarkable things you could never foretell and will never discover without taking action. So this goes back to that church service too, on what is your purpose? Like, you will never know the big impact you could be making if you don't take a step and do it. Yeah, it might be scary. Yeah, you might fail. But guess what? You can get back up and start again. And that's the beauty of it. Our life is so short, guys. So I want you to be courageous. I want you to be influential. And I want you to step out of your box and take action to figure out what you are capable of. So habit 1. So the way we're going to do all of this, there's 6 habits that I'm going to talk about for those that are note takers, that can help you learn. Sorry, hold on just a second. These are 6 personal habits that will help you to be the best leader that you can be. For your Beachbody coaches, for whoever you're trying to lead. So any aspect of life, when I read this book, I read it initially for as far as like Beachbody wise, but as I kept reading it, I was like, I can relate this to so many different ways, parts of my life. So habit 1 is to seek clarity. So number 1 says envision the future 4. So the future 4 it talks about was self, social, skills, and service. So how do you want to interact with other people every single day? What skills must you develop to win in the future? So if you figure out your purpose or you figure out how you want to influence, what skills do you need to do that? Do you need to go to school? Do you need to do some PD? Do you need to spend some money? Do you need to move? What do you need to do to reach your full potential? And then how can you make a difference and serve with excellence? So this is something that I really want to start doing myself. I feel like I don't really serve my community much. I feel like I don't serve others very well other than Beachbody. We kind of stick to ourselves here in Almo, Kentucky. And so I want to start serving others, serving them for the Lord and serving them in ways that I'm meant to be. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of like trying to figure that out on what I want to serve. I'll just tell you guys where I'm at with that. Determine the feeling you're after. So what is the primary feeling you want to bring to this situation? And what is the primary feeling you want to get from this situation? One thing I heard on a podcast that has helped me so much with my anxiety, with situational things that we happen with the kids, things where I'm nervous. I went to new church last weekend-ish. We've been there before, but this is the first time I'd taken Coleman by myself. I took 2 boys by myself. One of the things that I've heard, and I really started this when I switched Hayes' schools because I'd always been to school with him and he had never gone to school without me. And I went through a school shooting. So leaving him in a place without me was a big step and something I had horrible anxiety over. I heard this thing on a podcast that says when you're nervous about something or when you're approaching something new or you're approaching something that you just have a lot of feelings about, open the door. So open the car door, open the door before you go in, open the door before you leave your house, whatever, open the door and literally physically step back and let God go first. So this was like, I heard this and I was like, okay, like figuratively I could do this. But no, there was a time when Hayes was, and I'm speaking from truth. I've tried this. There was a time when Hayes cried every day at Mother's Day out at drop off his new school. And right around the court square, which is about a block or 2 from his school, I would just feel myself my chest would start beating. I'd start getting nervous. I'd start having anxiety. And I would just start praying and I would get there and I would open the car door and I would be like, okay, God, you first, you go first and I will follow you. It is one of the best things I've ever heard. And I can tell such a difference when I do that. And so determining the feeling you're after when you go into any situation, whether it be sending an invite, whether it be talking to your husband when you walk in the door in the afternoon, whether it be parenting your kids, whatever it may be, what do you want to feel when you go into this situation? I know a lot of times you have hard conversations with your spouse and you go into it knowing like, hey, this may be a fight, or hey, this is going to be a real deep and heavy topic. What kind of feeling are you after? When we go to Florida and we have to ride with Coleman in the car for 9 hours, what kind of feeling are we after? So open the door, let God in first, and determine the feeling you're after. And then define what's meaningful. So not everything that is achievable is important. So achievement is not the issue. Like you can achieve a lot of things, but those aren't necessarily important to you. And what is important to me may not be important to you. So determine what's meaningful in your life, and then how can you make this effort personally meaningful to you? So with coaching, what do you want out of it? Make it meaningful to you. When you send that invite, don't do it just because it's on the bat. Do it because it's meaningful to you. Figure out what's meaningful to you and then follow that route. So habit 2 is to generate energy. So this is something also that I have really been trying to work on what type of energy I want to bring, because I can come off as cold and not sensitive because that's kind of who I am as a person. But I've tried to portray a different energy, to bring a different energy to all of it, because I can be caring. I just not good with my words that way. So release tension and set intention. So use transitions between activities to renew your energy. Do this by closing your eyes, practicing deep breathing, releasing tension in your body and thoughts in your mind. Try to do this at least once every hour. So this book has a very intentional time frame on do not sit and do something for more than 50 minutes. If you need to work for 3 hours or 8 hours, that's fine. But at 50 minutes, physically stand up, close your eyes, walk away from the situation. Do not get on your phone, because a lot of times I do this. I will set breaks in my work throughout the day, but then I'll get on my phone and scroll through social media. No, it says literally step away from everything, close your eyes, refocus, and set intention before you sit back down and go back and do some more. And then bring the joy. This has changed our world. So this book recommends that 3 times a day you physically set an alarm on your phone that says bring the joy. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to remind you, like, bring the joy in this situation. So I set it for 3 times during my day, 3 times that I know are kind of busy. I know the afternoon times are like 5:10. So typically Clint's not home yet. I'm trying to cook supper. Both kids are normally cranky at that time for some reason because I'm trying to cook supper. It's a stressful time. I also set the other one at like 8 a.m. because it's kind of approaching Coleman's morning nap. He's normally cranky. Hayes is normally cranky in the mornings. And I set the other one around lunch. And it just pops up and says, bring the joy. And we were on the way to the Oakham Bison Prairie today when it went off. And of course, Coleman was screaming in the car. And I looked at Clint and I was like, bring the joy. And so it's almost comical now. If I ever get frustrated, he looks at me, he's like, bring the joy. And so it is something that you can be responsible for, the energy you bring to your day in each situation in life. This is something that kind of slapped me in the face. And that's why I'm so inspired by this, is like, you're responsible for your emotions. You're responsible for your attitude on when you approach the everyday life. So approach it with joy, if that's what you want to live by. And I don't know who wouldn't want to live with joy in their life. So anticipate positive outcomes from your actions. Ask yourself questions that generate positive emotions. Set triggers to remind you to be positive and grateful, and appreciate the small things and the people around you. And so that right there, I'm going to get a tattoo with it, because it has changed our everyday life. And now Clint it's funny because I'm like, bring that joy, bring that joy. And it seems to go off every time that, like, we're about to pull our hair out. And then the third thing is optimize health. Hello, Beachbody coaches. If the demands of your life require you to learn quickly, deal with stress, be alert, pay attention, remember important things, and keep a positive mood, you must take sleep, exercise, and nutrition more seriously. So take this and run with it. Like, if people want the most out of their life, they've got to optimize their health. And that goes for you and I, and that goes for everybody that we're influencing. Habit 3, raise necessity. So know who needs your A game. You cannot be extraordinary without a sense that is absolutely necessary to excel for yourself and for others. So when you sit down to do work, whether it be Beachbody, whether it be something else, whatever it is, ask yourself, who needs me on my A game most right now? And that's who you're going to deliver your A game to most that day. So I've talked a lot about how priorities can change. I had sick kids last week. They were my priority. This week, they're okay. You guys have been my priority this week. Next week, I don't know, maybe something different. The next week, we're going to be in Florida. So my family's going to be my priority. So set your priorities and know who needs your A game. And those may change every single day. Affirm the why. So when you verbalize something, it becomes more real and more important to you. So this is one of the first steps with Beachbody, is to know your why. Know your why of why you're doing this for your own health, and then know your why of why you're coaching. And I want you guys to verbalize that to yourself every single day so that you can know it. I actually have my why. Oh no, I just ripped it. My why and my vision and all of my things on my wall. And I try to remember to read it every single day. I'm not saying I do, because I'm not perfect, but I try to. And then level up your squad. So this means emotions and excellence are contagious. Spend some more time with the most positive and successful people in your peer group. So excellence is contagious. Emotions are contagious. Energy is contagious. All those things are contagious. I want you guys to portray what you want out of your coaches. And I'm going to promise you guys I'm going to do a better job of that as well. I got to speed up because I only got 10 minutes left. Habit 4, increase productivity. So increase the outputs that matter. This is doing those income producing activities. Don't waste time on stuff that doesn't matter, guys. Increase the outputs that matter. Chart your 5 moves. If there were only 5 major moves that could make your goal happen, what could that be? First step of that is you have to have a goal set. And then figure out your first 5 moves that are going to be the most beneficial for you to do, and work on those every time you sit down. Get insanely good at key skills. So determine the 5 major skills you need to develop over the next 3 years to grow into the person you hope to become, and then set out a plan to develop these skills. So if you have a goal of becoming 1-star, how are you going to get there? Figure out how you're going to get there and then focus on that. Habit 5, develop influence. We talked about influence a second ago. So you're going to teach people how to think, challenge people to grow, and role model the way. So when you guys talk to your coaches and you talk to your challengers, this is something I'm working on a whole lot as being a doula, is to ask people, think of it this way. What do you think about? What would happen if we tried? So get their minds rolling. And we try to do this with Hayes a lot, is don't give them the answers, make them think for themselves, because that's how people get smarter. And then challenge people to grow. So observe people's characteristics, ask people if they're giving it their all, and then treat those around you. Hold on, buddy. If they could give even more and treat people those around you how you would want to be treated. Rule of thumb. Role model the way. So 71% of high performers say they think about being a role model daily. So think about it as in your challengers and your coaches are all watching your every move. How would you want them to handle a situation? And that's how I want you to handle it. Habit 6, demonstrate courage. We've talked about courage tonight. So honor the struggle. When you have the opportunity to learn and serve, you don't complain about the effort involved. View struggle as a necessary, important, and positive part of your journey so that you can find true peace and personal power. Don't bemoan the inevitable hardships of self-improvement and chasing your dreams. Have reverence for challenge. That's one of those things where it said you're never going to grow unless you try. And failure might be involved in that. So honor the struggle and realize that you're growing through that. When you look back at any hard situation, think about how much you grew through that. Yes, it sucks in the moment, but you grow. Share your truth and your ambitions. So the main motivation of humankind is to be free, to express our true selves and pursue our dreams without restriction, to experience what may be called personal freedom. Do not play small to satisfy others. Live your truth. So don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to live outside the box, step outside the box just because you're afraid you might disagree with somebody. And then find someone to fight for. So find your why and don't forget it. Remind yourself every single day what your why is. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay, so I know that was long-winded. I'm sorry, but that's something that just smacked me right in the face when I read it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I am in a position to influence so many people and I need this wake-up call so that I can be the best version of myself, for my kids, for my husband, for my marriage, for you guys, for everything that I want to be in life, for my doula clients, for all of the things. Like I just want to be the best version of myself. The title of the book, oh gosh. High Performance Habits. And it is so good. I related it to so many aspects of my life. So guys, I know it's been a while since we've chatted. And I'm looking at my calendar because we need to do a free group at the end of this month. And I also want to do our own coach sneak peek. And so I'll get those dates figured out. The boys are out of school now, so my work is few and far between, squeezing in at wee hours, and I'm finally getting over 2 sick kids. So we will set some dates for that. If anybody has any already planned and you all want to go in together, we can. Did somebody say something? I think it was Marsha just logging back on. Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns? Sarah already quit 75 hard. Oh, look, there's the book. Sarah's got it.
I just got it, but I haven't started it yet. So it was my plan to start. So
it's so good. So good. I got a new one. Well, I'm reading the one about raising boys right now that I'm like geeking out over. Has nothing to do with coaching, but we need all the help we can get with our 3-year-old right now. And then I got the Sadie Robertson's new book. I'm all about the library now. I'm turning into a nerd.
I'm reading that Get Out of Your Own Head or whatever, you know, that Bible study we were doing.
Yes.
I just got the book by accident and I'm in love with that book. Like I'm trying to read it every night.
Yeah. I love that Bible study. So I bet that book's really good. All right, guys. Well, that's all I have for tonight. We'll work on dates and stuff. Also, for those that are local, we are going to try to have a Super Saturday at my house. Possibly. For those that are on here right now, did you guys decide if a weeknight or a weekend was better for you guys? I'm looking at my
For me, it's just better if y'all plan it and I can just take off work, like whatever that, it's easier for me just to take off. So y'all can just plan it and then I can take.
Okay. I'm thinking like a Saturday like morning and then like into lunch. Like we could maybe like do like a potluck style, like everybody bring something for lunch. I think that may work out best. I think Saturdays will probably be easiest. I know that's not easiest for, well, we have so, I don't know. I'll think about it. I'm trying to decide. Or we could do Saturday afternoon, but I know summer's so busy. I don't know. I'll make a voting thing. What were you gonna say, Marsha? Oh, I guess our phone died again. All right, guys. Thank y'all for showing up. Miss you guys.
One quick question. Sorry. It's just random because in the middle of class and then somebody messaged me. It was asking me about like just about Beachbody in general and the nutrition program specifically. Like, I just am not familiar with 2B mindset like enough. Like I really am not like, and I mean, I can talk about Ultimate Portion Fix like decent. And like you said, you know, I know we're not like certified trainers by any means, but when it comes to 2B mindset, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Cause anybody have like any sort of tidbit like they can just like throw out at me really quick so I can talk to her.
Yes. And then we have a YouTube, Jordan did a YouTube presentation over it, and Sarah did one too. Sarah kind of did a Mod Podge of 2B.
Cause I was looking at the files on Facebook and I was trying to find it, but I just don't know if I'm looking in the right spot.
So basically what I tell people about 2B mindset, like the quick mashup, is that 2B mindset is going to help you figure out, have a better relationship with food. So food is not bad. Food is not the enemy. You need food to survive. It's very veggie based and very water based. So the thing is water first, veggies most is what she like preaches. So it's not going to be as structured as 2B or as UPF as far as like you don't have to actually measure everything. But yeah, they're saying if you search it on programs, there are short videos that explain it by the creator. And that may be the best way for just send her that link. There's probably like a link you can send her without her having Beachbody, or she may have it. And then she does have a book out too. So it's a really good, it's really a good way to like figure out have a good relationship with food. I'm with Mary Kate though. I just follow UPF better, although I haven't really been following with that group, but you know.
Okay, right. Thank you. That was my only question. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Heather, you can message me if you want, because that's what I follow is 2B mindset.
Okay. Wait, who's talking to me? Sorry. I can Sarah. Oh, okay, good. All right. I'll message you.
All right. See y'all later.
Guys. Bye.
Bye.